The story begins in 2015, where aliens known as mimics arrive in Germany via an asteroid and quickly spread across Europe, conquering everything in their path. By 2020, the United Defense Force is established as a global military alliance and achieves victory over the mimics at Verdun, thanks to newly developed mesh suits. In Britain, Major William Bill Cage, a public affairs officer, is tasked with covering the invasion of France, but he objects due to lack of combat experience. General Brigham has Cage arrested and demoted to a private, falsely labeling him as a deserter. Cage is assigned to Master Sergeant Farrell and the misfit J Squad, who belittle him. On the day of the invasion, the mimics ambush Farrell and his team, J Squad, and quickly kill them. In a desperate attempt to fight back, Cage manages to take down an unusually large blue mimic with a claymore mine, but he ends up dying and covered in the alien's blood. Suddenly, Cage wakes up to find himself back at Heathrow Airport, reliving the same day over and over again. Despite his efforts to convince others of the impending attack, he finds himself stuck in a time loop, forced to relive his death on the beach repeatedly. As he repeats the same day, Cage's skills and combat improve. During one loop, he encounters Sergeant Rita Vrataski, a renowned war hero, and tries to save her life. Recognizing his unique ability, Vrataski enlists Cage to find her in the next loop and help her win a war against the mimics. Cage wakes up and seeks out Vrataski, who brings him to Dr. Carter, a mimic biology expert. Carter explains that the mimics are a superorganism, with the Omega controlling the cerebrum and the Alphas acting as ganglia, enabling the Omega to control ordinary mimics. If an Alpha is eliminated, the Omega resets time and alters its tactics until the battle is won. Cage has unknowingly gained the ability to reset time after being covered in an Alpha's blood. Vrataski also possessed this ability during the Battle of Verdun, but lost it after receiving a blood transfusion. She instructs Cage to locate and eliminate the Omega to end the alien invasion. After countless loops, Vrataski trains Cage to become a skilled fighter. However, after a frustrating training session, Cage runs away to London and discovers that the next target of the mimics is the city. Cage has visions of a dam in Switzerland, where the Omega is hiding, and spends many loops figuring out how to escape the invasion and reach the dam. Along the way, Cage develops feelings for Vrataski, but she remains focused solely on their mission. Eventually, Cage becomes convinced that they always reach a point where Vrataski is killed, regardless of their actions. As a result, he decides to go to the dam alone. However, upon arriving, he realizes that the Omega is not there and is ambushed by an Alpha. The Alpha tries to take away Cage's power to reset time, but Cage chooses to drown himself instead. Cage and Vrataski sneak into the Ministry of Defense to obtain Carter's prototype device, which can locate the Omega. Despite being chased by the military police, they manage to acquire the device after Cage persuades Brigham to give it to him. During the chase, Cage uses the device and discovers that the Omega is hidden under the Louvre Pyramid in Paris. However, their escape is compromised, and Cage is severely wounded and captured. He wakes up in a hospital and realizes that he has received a blood transfusion, causing him to lose the ability to reset time. Vrataski breaks Cage out of captivity, and they team up with J Squad to plan an attack on the Omega before the mimic invasion begins. They travel to Paris, where J Squad sacrifices themselves to allow Cage and Vrataski to reach the Louvre. Vrataski thanks Cage for getting her this far by kissing him before luring away an Alpha that was blocking their path to the submerged Omega. Unfortunately, Vrataski is killed by the Alpha, and Cage is gravely injured. However, he manages to drop a belt of grenades that destroys the Omega, ending the invasion. In his final moments, Cage plunges into the Omega's blood and dies. However, he wakes up on the helicopter en route to his first meeting with Brigham. He is surprised to learn that mimic activity has stopped, thanks to the Omega's destruction in Paris. Back in London, Cage is shocked to see that all of J Squad is alive and well. Later, He encounters Vrataski, who doesn't recognize him anymore.